are back at it with another X1 F1 podcast, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the British Grand Prix that we totally missed last week, and then we're also going to give you guys our predictions for the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. So let's start us off by talking about the British Grand Prix, and I called it. I almost was right in my podium just a little bit. I was almost right in my podium, all right? I had Lewis first, Lando, and then Russell. Russell could have got top four if his car didn't break, okay?
Could have got podium.
But man, my predictions for the British Grand Prix were spot on. Overachieve, Lewis. Worst strategy, Red Bull. Best strategy, Mercedes. Surprise, Mercedes win. Podium, Lewis wins. Like, that's the best weekend prediction-wise I've ever had in F1 so far. And hopefully we can back it up this weekend. But Mix, thoughts on the race in general for the British Grand Prix? Because hands down, best race of the year.
Oh yeah, it was definitely the best race of the year,
Bro.
I feel like it was like so unpredictable because everyone knew that rain was most likely going to show up, and nobody knew what was going to happen. And like the top, like 6 cars, I would say, they could all win it.
Yeah.
And everyone was just swapping the whole race, and McLaren were fast, and then Mercedes were fast, and then Max was fast, and Ferrari were doing nothing. But yeah, it was a good race.
Ferrari's down bad the last few weeks, but yeah, super unpredictable. The strategy by Lewis was amazing. I think McLaren kind of ruined Oscar's strategy just a little bit.
Lando's.
I don't know necessarily Lando's. I mean, they did was like, hey, what tire do you want to go on? I mean, they should have definitely.
Are they asking him?
Yeah, they should have gone on to the mediums.
This is what they said. Do you want to cover Lewis with the softs or cover Max with the mediums or hards or whatever? Why the fuck are you trying to cover off Max? Just go. You're leading the race. Go for the win.
I don't know.
They should have went on the mediums.
Yeah, the mediums were so much better. I mean, look at Oscar's times in that last stint. I mean, he was flying. Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised just as you are. I really thought, in all retrospect, Lando was actually going to get him, though. I mean, like, they were creeping up, and then all of a sudden, you just saw him fade,
Yeah.
and then Max was creeping, and then Max got
Max
him.
did the opposite.
Yeah, like, I was surprised Max. I don't know why he went on to the hards. I think maybe if he went on to the mediums, it would have been better.
I mean,
maybe
he
didn't have
was
any
fastest.
mediums.
He was the fastest.
I mean,
On track
yeah,
at the end, he was the fastest.
that is true. That is true.
I
But
think he was just a little bit too far back to catch Lewis. But I think it was the right play because he didn't have mediums. So
okay, that makes sense. I was just about to say that he probably didn't have mediums, or I wonder if he didn't have mediums. But yeah, it's been over 900 days since Saudi Arabia 2021. We finally got a win. We finally got a win.
That was the one person that I would want to win if Lando isn't the one winning.
Yeah. And
So,
like even the
cool.
start, like I feel like Lewis necessarily didn't go after the lead right away. He was like kind of following George around. And then they started a good pace. And then the rain came in. And all of a sudden Lando out of fucking nowhere, bro. He had pace like it was dry out there and just flew by these guys.
And Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar got right behind him at the end before they stopped.
It was wild. But no, overall, I think the British Grand Prix was an awesome weekend. I'm sad that we didn't have a weekend like right afterwards too. Like I was really sad about that. But no, classic weekend. It makes it seem like there's possibly 4 cars that can win any weekend. Red Bull, you have McLaren, Mercedes, and potentially Ferrari if they ever get their act together. You have 4 different cars finally that we can see win a race, which Mercedes won back-to-back now. You know, pure luck on the side of George. It's at Red Bull Ring, but pure luck. But it was back-to-back wins for Mercedes. Red Bull's still looking good. Lando's still looking fire. Oscar
looked really good.
Oscar looked really good. There's also like I've seen some clips on TikTok about some other F1 podcasts, and they're saying like if Lando doesn't win like this year or next year, like the championship, they see Oscar winning a championship before Lando because Oscar's only getting better. Thoughts on that, Lando fanatic?
I think if I think they're both just pushing each other. Because I wouldn't say there's a better driver duo than, or at least a potential to be the best driver duo than Lando and Oscar. Like Oscar and Lando are actually pushing each other because Lando's pretty much always beaten his teammates that he's had previously, and this is like the first time he's actually been pushed. But Piastri's never he's beaten him, but Lando usually is the one ahead.
And I would say the best duo is potentially the McLaren team right now, and then you can kind of say second best duo right now is Mercedes.
Yeah,
I think Max is just
driver and car.
Yeah, best driver and car is Max probably. Maybe not even car, but best driver right now is probably Max. But his duo's ass. Sergio is bad.
What would you put for the top 4 drivers right now?
Top 4 drivers? Well, I would say probably Max. You got to go Max number 1. He's leading the championship. He's been dominating the last 3 years. I would say Lando has been better this year than last year, but I think he found his stride second half last year that led to this performance.
That was the car, though. That was the car.
Yeah, but he's still been better, though. You know what I mean? And, his car's been better, so he's been better. And so I think he's been really good. So I probably put him second. I would say Lewis, then George, probably. Or you can even flip-flop. You can flip-flop George and Lewis because George has been fire all year. If you really think about it, he's been, top 5 consistently, where Lewis has had a couple of races where he's been outside of that. But I think those are the top 4 drivers. I don't think you can put anybody else just based off performance. Obviously, you can say Leclerc or Sainz because they both won a race this year, but Leclerc won Monaco.
Kind of rigged.
And Sainz won because Verstappen's got brake damage.
I mean, he pulled away from everyone, though, pretty much.
That's true. But I would say those guys are taking a step back just based off performance the last few weeks, and those are the top 4 as of right now, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And then, let's jump into our predictions, all right, for Hungarian GP. First off, it was pouring, it was hailing, and the top of the track, the highest point of the track was 2 feet underwater. So are we even going to get a race? I don't even know. But
McLaren's hospitality center's roof got ripped off too.
Yeah, so bad storm. I don't know if it's supposed to storm this weekend or it was just during the week. I don't know if anybody knows this, but if it is a rain race, we just saw what happened in the British Grand Prix. We're going to have 4 different drivers, probably 5 different drivers handle it pretty good. So let's start it off. Prediction, over, under, achieve. Who you got?
For my underachieve, I'm going to go with the infamous Charles Leclerc. I'm pretty sure he's been lapped the last 2 races.
Dude, that's crazy.
So, he's going to keep going with that, I guess. The car sucks. He hasn't been driving very well. Probably been unlucky a few times since Monaco. But yeah, I don't know, something needs to change for that team and him to get it back into gear. And then my overachieve, I'm gonna throw it out of left field. I guess it's not really left field, but I'm gonna go with George Russell.
George Russell overachieve?
Yeah, he's been doing so good, and
that is true.
I think he is gonna come back feisty.
I mean, he probably
motivated.
He probably could have got podium last week if his car didn't break.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
I think he's gonna come back very motivated after Silverstone missing out on at least a podium. Yeah. Probably could have won.
Probably, to be honest.
Yeah, those are my over and underachieve.
So my underachieve is going to be another week of Perez, just straight dog shit.
Do you see the rumor about that?
What do you think my overachieve is? It's going to be Yuki. Yuki's going to dominate. He's going to take over that spot during the summer break, and Perez is going to be shit out of luck. I heard his contract. There's a rumor for in his contract, if he doesn't perform, they can can him, even though he signed a 2-year contract. If he doesn't perform, they can. So there is a rumor that Yuki moves up, and then Liam Lawson and Perez would go to Red Bull 2.0, I believe, and then Danny Rick would be kicked. I saw that.
I saw that. I saw at the end of the year it'd be Lawson and one of the like Hajar, I think his name is. He would be in the
Okay,
B
I saw
car.
that too. Yeah.
Which could be interesting.
Could be. Okay, so DNF. Who you got DNFing at this race? Last year, there was 3 DNFs: Logan Sargent and both Alpines. So.
Poor Logie Bear.
I know.
I'm gonna go off of your underachieve, and I'm gonna go Sergio Perez.
Okay, shit. Okay.
He's been so bad,
dude.
So
he really has been.
I kind of wish you. No, I don't really wish you would do good. I just don't like Red Bull.
I'm gonna say for my DNF, it's gonna be Carlos Sainz. Kind of random, but I can see maybe a Ferrari getting a DNF. You know, I'm not hoping that Leclerc gets a DNF. He's been struggling. That car's been bad for him. So I'm hoping that maybe he does a pretty good performance. But I can see one of those cars DNFing, and I'm just gonna go with Sainz per se. So, and then best and worst strategy. Oh, also side note on that Ferrari, they've already spent 50% of their budget for upgrades. So that's pretty bad.
They're done.
That's done. Pretty bad. So maybe DNF is probably out of the realm here, but I'm just going with something crazy. So and then best and worst strategy we got.
I hate to say this. I hate to say it. But after last week, like, it was so bad. I'm going to go with Lando worst strategy.
Oh, rip.
Like, there's no it should just be McLaren, but I'm just going to go Lando. But I don't know what they're thinking. Hopefully they get it together and they don't have that bad of a strategy, because they should have won that race. Could have won that race.
Could have, yeah.
And then my best strategy, going off my overachieve, is going to be Mr. George Russell.
Okay.
They're going to pull it together for him.
Could you imagine Mercedes wins 3 races in a row? That'd be pretty wild.
Just like the old days.
Yeah. My best and worst strategy, I'm going to piggyback off of your best and say Mercedes. So I think potentially both cars, top 2, top 3, potentially. I think that would be a good solid. Even top 4 would be pretty good for them. And then my worst strategy is going to be McLaren. Kind of piggybacking off of yours as well. Man? But like Oscar had a bad strategy. He could have been a podium spot. Lando had a bad strategy. They really need to flip it, and hopefully me predicting this flips that switch and they go 1-2, 2-3, you know?
Yeah.
I can really see that. I can also see, you can also say best strategy here is Haas. Bro, even with like one car getting out last year or last race with George getting a DNF, Hulkenberg finished 6th place, dude. That's pretty freaking good. Potentially a 7th if George was still in the race, but a 6th place is still solid for a Haas driver. So I can see potentially maybe a Haas doing pretty good. And then your biggest surprise, what is it going to be?
So this is so stupid. So I said Lando Norris, worst strategy.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lando Norris, a perfect weekend.
Lando Norris, perfect weekend, even though you just picked worst strategy for him. Wow. So
one of them's going to come true.
It's not a sprint race, correct?
No clue. If it is, I'm taking it back.
I don't believe it is. I don't believe. Let me double check. No, it's
he
not.
has, he has the car to do it.
I'm going to say my biggest surprise, I'm going to say a Williams, whether that's Alex Albon or where's the other driver? Logan. I'm going to say this. Biggest surprise, Logie Bear gets top 10 and gets points.
Fuck yeah.
That's my biggest surprise. Logie gets points. He was 11th last week, potentially 12th with George DNFing, but 11th last week. A little bit off the pace of Yuki, but
he's been doing fairly good the last.
Yeah, anything
few weeks,
can happen. Like. DNFs, anything. So I mean, look at Hulkenberg. He's in 6th place, man. If he gets a better qualifying position, has a good strategy, 8, 9, 10 is in play for Logie.
Haas has been pretty good this last few races too.
Dude, they've been good since like
all year, pretty
Monaco.
Much.
They've been really good since Monaco. So
yeah, since they both crashed.
Yeah. All right, so our next prediction is pole, and you have Lando getting a perfect weekend, so that means Lando's getting pole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Russell gets pole. I can see Russell getting pole. He's been really good at like qualifying and stuff, so I can see him potentially getting pole. Maybe Mercedes. And then our next one, podium spot. Who do we got? Who do you got? Podium.
For my podium, I have in P3 Mr. Lewis Hamilton.
I'll take it.
Just one race.
I'll take it. P3's good.
Has a good car finally.
P3's good.
He's not bouncing everywhere.
That is true.
And then in P2, I have George Russell, who I said was going to overperform. Also has a good car. Same car as Lewis, pretty much.
Okay. Okay.
He's been driving good.
I like
Not going to get his second win of the season, but he might get close. And then obviously winning, I have Lando Norris completing the perfect weekend.
I mean, that was kind of obvious.
I was low-key thinking that Lando could have a perfect weekend at Silverstone after he went P1 in both practices, and then like George was first in the third session.
Yeah, then he shit the can in the race. So
I mean, it's kind of hard. Like if you're not like say like you do like qualifying in the first and second practice, then don't do any in the third, and somebody does a qualifying practice, like you're just fucked.
Yeah. All right, my podium. Maybe this is a little bit bold. I could say this is maybe a little bit bold, but I'm going to say...
Logan Sargent, P3.
No, not that bold. I'm going to say Max gets fourth. All right, hear me out. Max gets fourth.
Whoa, this is the podium, buddy, not P4.
Oscar gets third.
Okay.
Lewis second. Lando first. I think Lando's gonna win.
Let's go.
I think Lando's gonna win. I think Lewis is gonna be right behind him. Oscar, same really good car. If they could fix their strategies, man, he could be top 3.
They could be contending for a title if they could
I could see George and Max maybe getting into each other, maybe hitting each other, battling out 4th, 5th.
Austria, part 2.
Yeah, so anything's possible. So those are my things. So we got Oscar, Lewis, Lando. So those are our predictions. Let us know in the comment section below who you guys have winning this weekend. It's going to be great. I'm not excited to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch this race, but I kind of also am. It's going to be early, but I'm excited to see what happens. We definitely got to do like live reactions to this and post it or something. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know who you guys have winning. Let us know all these predictions. Let us know in the comment section below. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support, and we'll catch you guys back here for the next race or recap potentially. All right, we're out. Peace.